everyone, my name is Sai and welcome back to the Petiteknit YouTube channel. I'm a knitter and small business owner based in Melbourne, Australia, and this is my first ever podcast. So today I thought I'd share with you some of the knitting that I've been doing recently, some projects that I've been finished in the past couple of months, and also show you some yarn that I recently purchased. I have a few more finished objects than I usually would have on a podcast, just because it's an accumulation of the past probably 2 or 3 months of knitting. But obviously going forward, if I'm doing this on a monthly basis, I definitely will not have that many finished projects. I'm a slow knitter and I work full-time as well, so I don't get that much knitting time, but when I do, I try to get as much knitting done as possible. So yeah, I have 4 finished objects. Actually I have 5, but one of them was a gift knit, so I won't be able to show you, but I'll put some pictures. But to show, I have 4 finished objects, and I have 1 work in progress, and I have some knitting plans with some new yarn that I've purchased to show you. So let's start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my first finished object of 2025. I'll put some more footage in here, but it is the Good Grandpa Cardigan by Caidree. I started this a really long time ago. I started knitting 3 years ago, and then I took a 1.5 years of pause, and this was one of the projects that was incomplete when I stopped knitting. So I think I had like 1 sleeve left, so it wasn't much to go. So it's not technically a finished object of this year, but it's something that I did finish, so I thought I'd show you. Yeah, so it's a Good Grandpa Cardigan by Caidree. It's a V-neck cardigan. Knit with 6mm needles. For the yarn, I used the Rowan brushed fleece alpaca, which is the softest yarn I've ever knit with. It is so soft, obviously because it's alpaca, but also it's a very plump yarn, so it has a little bit of bounce, so it's just soft, cozy. It's just a really nice yarn. The pattern was really easy to follow. The instructions were really clear. Actually, it knitted up really quickly, obviously because it was on 6mm needles, so I really enjoyed the process a lot, and I love the addition of the little pockets. I don't think they're very functional, but you know, it gives a nice design element, I think. I really enjoyed knitting this cardigan. For the buttons, I just bought some dark wood buttons off of Etsy, and they weren't that expensive either, so I thought they had a good contrast to the kind of gray beige cardigan. And because of the color, it's a really nice staple. I can put it on pretty much every outfit I own, so I really like the functionality of the garment as well. And in the cold winter in Melbourne, I definitely end up using this a lot. I have already used it a lot, but yeah, I'm looking forward to keeping this as one of my main staples in my wardrobe. If I'm missing any of the information that you'd like to know, just ask in the comments, and I'm happy to reply, and keep in mind for the future podcasts as well. I knit this in size S, which was what I used to knit at that time 3 years ago, but now my go-to size is size M, or usually like number 3 in patterns, but I will tell you each pattern that I show you what size I've knitted that garment in. But yeah, that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about this project. So the next finished object is the most recent one. It is the Ingrid Sweater by Petiteknit. I actually did do vlog on this, or a knitting vlog, which is on my channel, so feel free to check that out. Almost from start to finish. I did start it and then thought, oh, maybe I should vlog it, so I started the neckband, and then I started vlogging from like I think the first colorwork band. But yeah, I go in a lot of detail in that vlog, because obviously those were my thoughts as I was knitting the garment. But yeah, here it is. I am very proud of this sweater. It's my first colorwork sweater, so I really enjoyed the knitting process for this one. This is the Key Sweater by Petiteknit. I used dropped Alaska in the colors that are on the screen, and I think I ended up using around 13 or 1400 meters in total. This is a pretty oversized sweater, so the sleeves do not have any decreases, so it's just a straight sleeve down, which is really good if you're doing your first colorwork. I didn't have to really think too much once I started knitting the sleeve. I knitted in size M, which is what I'm knitting most of my garments now, as I said. So the construction is really nice and easy. You do 1 by 1 rib at the start, and then you do some short row shaping for the back to raise it a little bit. But other than that, it's a pretty standard raglan sweater, which is good because I was doing colorwork for the first time, so I didn't want to have too many new techniques that I was learning. Even with the short row shaping, I've done short row shaping before, but I hadn't done it with increases, so that was something new to me, so I did have to start over a couple of times. But other than that, it was pretty easy. The only thing I would say about this sweater is that if you see these keys, and I go in depth about this in the vlog, but the third stripe in particular, the keys don't really match. So if you see these little, this white and this white, so you see how it is in line. For the third one, in the pattern, and I've seen this on a lot of Ravelry projects as well, the keys don't really match because I don't know if the stitch count, or I'm not sure. But so I had to do a little bit of adjustment in the colorwork pattern to make sure that the keys line up. It doesn't matter really, like the projects that I've seen of the ones that the keys don't line up, it does not, like, it's not very obvious. It's only when I was looking for it I found it, but if you're not looking for it, it's not obvious at all. It's just because once I noticed it, I had to make sure that the keys lined up. So I just did a little bit of adjustments around the raglan mostly, so it's not very obvious. And made sure that the keys lined up. So I think that's all I had to say. I used, for the body, I used 4.5 millimeter needles, and the ribbing I used 3.75, which is a smaller needle than what she recommends. The pattern recommends 4 millimeter needle, but because I wanted a bit of cinching in the ribbing, it's still pretty like loose and it doesn't like cinch in a lot, but I just wanted it a little bit shaped at the bottom. So even the sleeves are really wide, so yeah, I did go down a bit on the ribbing needle size, but even if you didn't, well, I think it'll be fine. So it's a heavy jumper, not gonna lie, because it is a thick yarn, but it is a very warm sweater, and I've worn it a few times out now in like on cold days, and it's kept me really warm. So yeah, very happy with this one. The next finished object I want to show you has a bit of story to it. So I started knitting this project, like I said, 3 years ago. It's one of those projects that I stopped knitting, but weirdly I completely forgot about this project. So I started knitting it and I left it at my friend's house, and then I forgot about it and he forgot about it, and then when he was moving end of last year is when he found it and returned it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this project vaguely, but I'll show you what it is. It is the Zipper Sweater Man by Petiteknit again. There it is. There it is, and that's the zip. So once I got the project bag back, I opened it up and I was like, oh yeah, this sweater. And I actually was really enjoying knitting on it when I stopped. It's a shame I forgot about it because I could have finished it 3 years ago, but I was like, I want to pick it up again. So I started knitting on it again, and then I realized I don't actually have enough of this yarn because I only had a couple of balls in the project bag, and then I started looking through my stash and I was like, I don't think I have enough of this yarn to actually finish the whole project. So I went on Drop's website. This is Drop's Nepal, sorry, I should have said. This is Drop's Nepal. And so I went on the Wool Warehouse website, which is where I get my drops yarn, and they had discontinued this color. So I was like, oh, great. So I spoke with my husband, who this sweater is for, and we decided on like a dual tone sweater. So we chose this yarn, which is like a medium brown. I got that yarn, and then I resumed knitting on this. But then I realized that the stitch count was a little bit off, and I don't know like what decisions I'd made 3 years ago to arrive at that stitch count. Was it conscious, or what? Did I just lose count of the stitches? So I thought it's just too much of thinking to continue knitting, so I just frogged the whole thing and I started from start. So I think as painful as it was, because I'd finished the knitting back and forth, and I'd reached the joining of the round after the zip part, so I was like, oh, it's painful. But once I started knitting again, I was much happier because I knew what I was doing was right, and my tension was better, and you know, it just flowed a bit better. So yeah, this is the zipper sweater man by Petiteknit. Very kind of standard pattern. You start knitting 1 by 1 rib, quite tall, and then you fold it over, and there's a bit of like zip. There's like a panel for the back of the zip that you knit straight down, which you do after the sweater. So it's just picking up stitches here that you leave live, and then you knit back and forth up until you finish the zip portion, and then you join in the round, and obviously you're doing raglan increases the whole time as well, and then it's just like a standard raglan jumper. And then you pick up the stitches here and you knit that sort of zip backing band, and I blocked the jumper before I put the zip in, just to let the stitches settle and stretch or whatever they needed to do, so that I know the zip won't pucker. And then you just hand sew the zip down. I got the zip from Petiteknit's website, which wasn't actually that expensive. I thought it would be costly to get it shipped here, but it wasn't. So that was good, and that way I knew that, you know, this would be a complete jumper. So yeah, I used 5mm needle on the body and then 4.5 for the ribbing. The sleeve length and ribbing ended up being perfect. The only thing I am thinking of frogging back is the body ribbing, because it sits a little bit wide right now. It doesn't cinch in like I want it to. So what I'm going to do is just probably frog the ribbing and then knit it in a smaller size needle. So maybe a 3.5 or even a 3. I'll just see how it looks, and maybe even knit it a little bit longer so it kind of has that elasticity. So yeah, that's the only thing I might change going forward on this jumper. But other than that, it's already been used a few times and the recipient is happy with it. So I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's 3 garments that I finished in the last 2 or 3 months. And then the last one was my first ever pair of fully knitted socks. They are not in the nicest condition. I've used them quite a lot recently, and I think I need to wash them again. But here they are. So because they are my first ever pair, you'll see a few mistakes, I guess. But one of them is definitely smaller than the other. So this one is quite a bit bigger. Not when I wear it. When I wear it, it's fine. But if you see it just like this, you can see that one is definitely like taller and also just wider. But that's because I knitted the smaller one first, and I was quite tight tension because it was my first sock, and then I relaxed a bit and then I knitted this one, so obviously it's looser tension. But I followed the vanilla sock pattern by Crazy Sock Lady. It's like the best video to follow if you're knitting a first pair of socks, because she really goes into detail on how to do, you know, certain techniques. But as you can see, it's already a little felted here, which makes sense because, you know, like I've been wearing them a lot. Obviously it's not the neatest sock I've ever knitted. There's you know, a bit of like where I picked up that it's not very even, or even just like the tension, like I said, it's not very even. But I finished both pairs and I've worn them a few times, so I'm very happy. I used for the sock body, I used stash yarn, which I had for years and years, and the only thing I can remember about the yarn was it was by Rainbow and Sprinkles, which is a local yarn dyer in Australia, and the cuff and the toes was pink yarn. That's all I have. I have no idea who it was by. I just had some stash yarn, but it was just this pink sock weight yarn that I had, which I thought would pair really well with the multicolored yarn that I was using for the body, so I just used it, but I have actually no idea who it was by, or or where I got it. So that's just stash yarn that I had. But since I've knitted this, I'm definitely wanting to knit more socks after I've knitted this. So I went into my stash and I found this incomplete project that I had from, again, like 2 or 3 years ago, and this beautiful yarn is by again, a local yarn dyer called Yarns by the Bay, and I found her on Etsy, and I was knitting it. It's just such beautiful colors, like you can see. There's purple and blues and pinks, and it's just, I was really enjoying knitting on this, but obviously I stopped and I put it in my stash for some reason. I was knitting it using the yarn double, so it was a DK weight sock. Now I am thinking, because I really enjoyed the fingering weight yarn that I was using for the finished pair of socks, I'm thinking of frogging this completely and starting from scratch, and I'm just using one strand and knitting the vanilla sock pattern again. Also, I was thinking just having a look in my stash and see if I have a contrast color to use for the heel, the cuff, heels and toes, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I guess that's a bit of sock project for me in the future. Last finished object that I don't have with me, which was a gift, was the Monday Junior sweater, which I knitted for my best friend's daughter. They recently visited us, and I've always wanted to knit her a little jumper and a toddler size jumper, so I literally started probably a couple of weeks before the visit, and I was like, surely I can get this done because it's a toddler sweater, and I did. So I used Lion brand Mandala yarn, I think it was called, in the color Tranquil, which is a color changing yarn, and I thought all the colors were really cool and nice and springy, and it was 100% acrylic yarn, which I chose because I didn't want them to bother with, washing and blocking and all that sort of stuff. It's just throw in the washing machine and it should be fine. So yeah, it's the yarn I used, and I used a Monday Junior sweater pattern by Petiteknit. I did do a couple of modifications, which is I did not do the double folded collar because it just doesn't get that cold in India where they're from, so I just left it as a single layer. And the other thing I didn't do was short row shaping because I just didn't think it needed. I'm sure it brings a lot to the pattern, and it's great that they offer that in the pattern as well, but I just adjusted the stitch count for the front and back to match, and I just knitted it like a regular raglan jumper. So yeah, so it's just the only two things that I changed. Other than that, I just kept it as true to the pattern as possible. And yeah, I really was happy with the sweater. I did do a daily vlog on it on my Instagram and TikTok, so feel free to check that out if you want to know a bit more detail on the pattern. But I really enjoyed knitting it, and I can't believe how fast I knitted it up. It's just such a cute little jumper, and yeah, I gifted it to them and they were very happy with it. I can't wait to see her in it. I did knit it in a larger size just because they grow so quickly, and by the time it's winter in India, it should fit her perfectly. So yeah, that's the final finished project that I had. So like I said, I won't have these many finished projects every time I do this. I'm just not a very fast knitter, so yeah, I just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's transition into work in progress, and have one project that I'm working on right now, which is usually the case unless I have something like a smaller accessory item at the same time, but I'll show you what I'm knitting on at the moment. And it is, I can't believe I'm in the middle of the row. That's crazy. You can tell I'm a rookie podcaster because I should have kept that in mind. But it is the Ingrid Sweater by Petiteknit. I'm really enjoying knitting on this at the moment with all its different textures. I'm kind of halfway at the body right now, and I'm hoping to finish the body by in the next couple of days. So yeah, it looks so great on the camera. I'm very happy with it. It looks better on the camera than it looks in real life, to be honest. But yeah, it is a really cool pattern. So you start on the back yoke and you knit up until the 2x2 rib, and then you pick up the shoulders, and then you knit the front yoke, and you again stop at the 2x2 rib here, and then you join in the round, and then you do the double moss section, and then the rest of the body. So it's a new type of construction for me. I haven't done this sort of, I don't know what the construction is called, but I haven't done this separate back yoke, front yoke, and then join in the round thing. So yeah, new construction for me, and I'm really happy with it. I've tried it on a bit and it kind of sits really well. So I'm really excited to see what the final final sweater would look like on me. The pattern is going really well. It's very well written, and the charts are really clear. A couple of new stitch textures to me. So the mock cables are new to me. I hadn't done that before. And then the eyelets as well, which you can't really see right now. I think they'll be more clear when you block the sweater. But the eyelets were new to me as well. I have done double moss before, and obviously 2x2 rib, I've done that before as well. So definitely a couple of new textures that I hadn't done before. So that was really cool to learn. There are quite a few yarn breaks that you need to do while knitting this type of construction, because you're knitting back and forth, and she wants you to start on a particular side when you're knitting in. So yeah, that is a little bit, that's going to be a bit annoying when to weave in, but that's just what the pattern is. So, you know, and there's a few more here as well. So that's just how the pattern is, and it's not a big deal. It's I think I'm gonna weave them in soon, because I don't like having these just trailing around as I'm knitting. The yarn that I'm using is this beautiful beige cream yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills, which is a local yarn dyer in Victoria. They also manufacture their own yarn on site, and they're based in Bendigo. I visited them a few weeks ago, which is where I got this yarn. So they don't have this yarn on their website. It is 50% alpaca, 50% wool. They have a little back room at the back of their shop, which they have all these like special yarns and discounted yarns that they don't have on their website. So I grabbed 3 bowls of this yarn. So it is 200 grams each bowl, so there's 400 meters per bowl, so I have 1200 meters in total. Now, according to the pattern, that should be enough. I think for the size that I'm knitting, it's around like 1100 and something, so very close, but it should be enough. So I am playing a little bit of a dangerous game here, because I have just enough yarn to knit it with. So I am knitting a size below, because I didn't know if I had enough to knit my size, which is size M, so I'm knitting size S, but it seems to be fine. Like, I'm a little bit in between sizes at the moment, so I've tried it on and it seems fine. It fits well, and I know it's going to stretch out a bit as well. All the textures are going to relax. So yeah, I'm hoping I don't lose to Yarn Chicken. It's going to be a close one, but we'll see. But I am really enjoying the fabric that I'm knitting up with the yarn. It is very drapey already without blocking, and also very soft because of the alpaca. So yeah, that's the project I'm currently knitting on. I'm using 4mm needles. For all my project, I use Chagu needles, which I recently bought actually, probably a couple of months ago, and I'm really enjoying it. I have a set of liquid needles that I started knitting on, and I love them as well. I've always wanted to try metal needles, and I am really enjoying knitting on them at the moment. So all my projects, I'm using the Chago needles for now. Nothing else to say about the project. The pattern is pretty clear. I've just been following. It is a little bit, you have to pay attention because, you know, it's so easy to lose track of where you are. So I have it on my PDF reader. I'm highlighting each section as I finish it just to make sure that I know where I'm at in the pattern. But other than that, it is very kind of Moorish, this pattern, because you just want to get to the next texture, and it just looks so kind of intricate and professional in a way. So yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting this pattern, and I can't wait to finish it and wear it soon. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this pattern. So I'll put this away. Oh, also I want to just show you this cute little progress keeper that I have. This little stitch marker here by Christine from What Will She Make. She's a local stitch marker notions maker in Melbourne. I love her stitch marker. She just has the best kind of choices when it comes to them, and I got this from her at a recent market that we both did together. That's all I have to say about the project, and I can't wait to show it, hopefully finished, in the next podcast. So that's the only work in progress that I have to show. So let's move on to some acquisitions and project plans. So I did buy a fair bit of yarn recently, which I don't really do that often. I only buy yarn when I have a project in mind. But I've been recently going on Facebook Marketplace a lot to see if there's any yarn, a good quality yarn being sold for a good price. And surprisingly, I made a few purchases recently for yarn that I was not expecting to be on Marketplace, so I'll share that with you first. First purchase that I made on Marketplace, I bought this really beautiful Rowan Kids Silk Haze in this amazing burgundy red color. Oh, that color is coming up really beautifully right now. And I got 9 balls of these. So this is 50-gram balls. It's 70% lamb's wool, 26% kid mohair, and 4% nylon. And it is a worsted weight yarn. It has 140 meters per ball. So I have 9 balls. So I have enough to make enough to have a sweater quantity yarn. So I am thinking of knitting the Lakes Pullover by Ozetta, which would be amazing in this deep red color. So that's the first one that I got, and in the same transaction I also purchased this beautiful skein. I got 3 of these, and this is the Quince & Co. Owl, which is 50% American wool, 50% alpaca, and this really cool kind of cerulean blue color. And it is again a worsted weight yarn. It's 110 meters per 50 gram, and the color is Barents C 326. So I have 3 of these, so I'm not sure what to make of this yarn yet. I just saw the color and I really fell in love with it. So let me know if you have any suggestions for 330 meters of worsted weight yarn. And then I saw this one and I had to go for it, which is Isayar Alpaca 1, focus, there you go, in this really cool blue-gray color. It's a lace weight alpaca yarn, and there's 400 meters per 50 grams, and I have 4 of these. So 1600 meters in total. And then on the same day when I'm picking it up, it was in the same area as the store Little Woolly Makes, which is a local yarn store in Melbourne. So I thought I have to check it out because I'd never been, but I'd heard really good things from Ash, who has a podcast called Smash Knits on YouTube, and she has like such good things to say. It's her local yarn store, so I was like, I have to visit it. And coincidentally, Ash was there with her little knitting group, so it was really good running into her as well. And the yarn store is just amazing. It's every yarn store I'll go to, I was like, I just want to live here. So it was very cute yarn store, and they had their knitting group going on. It was just a really nice atmosphere. So I went in there. Obviously I did want to buy something, but nothing that is just like without any plans. So I thought, oh, I'll buy a yarn that pairs well with the mohair, or rather the alpaca yarn that I have, to probably make like a nice vest or something. So I got this yarn, which is the Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine Yarn, which is Peruvian Highland wool, baby alpaca, and silk yarn. So as you can see, there's a trend here. I do like alpaca yarn. It's just, I love the softness of it. But yeah, 40% alpaca, 40% wool, and 20% silk. So it is incredibly soft to touch, like really, really soft and squishy. And it's in this color 4. It's color 4. But it's this kind of like, how do you describe it? It's like sea green almost. And I got 3 skeins of this yarn, which totals to, here's what the two, they're not exact same colors, but I think it would make a really good combination. And for this, I was thinking, I've never knit a vest before. I have been wearing more vests recently, so I thought I would knit one up. So I was actually eyeing the Staffin vest by Crea Bea or Rebecca Clow, and I actually saw Ash's vest on her podcast, and I was really influenced by it. So that is what my current plan is with this, but we'll see if it changes by the time it comes to actually knitting these up. And there's one last yarn that I want to show you that I got recently, and trust me, it's not going to be this crazy every time. This is just an accumulation of yarn in the past couple of months, but I think I have enough yarn now to start my knitting projects and plans rather than just keep buying more yarn. But let me show you this yarn. It is this amazing colorful, yes, cloud yarn by Lang Yarns. It is blown yarn and color changing blown yarn basically. It is in color 9 and is 100 gram skein, or ball rather, and each ball has 260 meters. And I got 4 of these, and I wanted to make the cardigan number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So yeah, I'm really excited for this yarn. I just love all the colors in here, and I did get a bit influenced by all the projects that I've been seeing online, but I just love this little like bright blue peeking out. But yeah, it's like a soft pastels with splashes of these bright colors. So I am really looking forward to seeing this knitted up. And I'm thinking of doing the button band and the ribbing in a different color, like contrast color, which I think would be really cool to go with this yarn. So yeah, that's the final yarn acquisition that I have recently, and that's the plan for it. But yeah, that's everything that I wanted to share. I hope that wasn't too long. The camera cuts the videos up into bits and pieces, so I actually don't know how long I've been recording for, but hopefully it's not too long, and hopefully you've enjoyed just sitting and listening to me talk about knitting and working on a cool knitting project at the same time. But yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions. So my battery died, so I had to charge it, but all I wanted to say was thank you so much if you stuck this long, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you have any questions, or let me know what you're currently knitting on or plan to knit in the near future, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye!